Have you ever questioned if God has stopped working on you? Like as though he did some work for a time and then either got frustrated or bored?
When I work on a car, sometimes I do this. I get started on a project, take a bunch of parts off to fix something, but then I get tired or I get frustrated or something breaks, or maybe someone comes by and I have to leave the car in pieces in the garage. Sometimes the car will wait for days or weeks, maybe even months before I get to come back to it and finish the work, if I even get to. But God is different. In Philippians 1:6, the Apostle Paul said this about God.
And I am sure of this, that he who began a good work in you will bring it to completion at the day of Jesus Christ.
We don't always perceive how God is working. We don't always feel the changes or refinement he's bringing about in us. But we can know for certain that God has not abandoned us. Sometimes when we go through really painful experiences, it's easy to question, is God even there? Because if he were, then maybe I wouldn't be going through all of this pain. But what if instead of those hard times being the result of maybe God being absent, they're actually times where he's doing the most profound work in us? Whenever I've done body work on a car to fix rust or some other blemish, maybe really worn out paint, the initial stages of grinding and sanding and shaping are far less nice to look at than the original damage itself even. But in order to restore that part's beauty, first the rot has to be removed. The broken parts, broken pieces have to be cut away. And this can be a very messy process. This often looks way worse than how the car was originally. And I'm sure that if a car could feel, it would probably feel a lot of pain. It would probably feel similarly to when God does major work on us. Thankfully, when God does major work on us, no matter how hard it hurts, no matter how scary the circumstances are, we can trust that he really knows what he's doing. Unlike me, I'm not really that great at Bondo. Other stuff I'm pretty good at, but God really does know what he's doing. God will bring you and I to completion, and we will be perfect one day. When Jesus returns and we see him in all his glory, the work will finally be finished, and we will be transformed into being just like him. So maybe you're going through some hard stuff right now. Maybe it feels like no one cares. Maybe it feels like the pain you have doesn't matter to anyone, or that God hates you, or that he's unable to carry you through this. Let me tell you the truth. God does see you. He does see your pain, and he most certainly doesn't hate you. He loves you, and he is not far away.
Psalm 139, 13-16. For you formed my inward parts. You knitted me together in my mother's womb. I praise you, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Wonderful are your works. My soul knows it very well. My frame was not hidden from you when I was being made in secret, intricately woven in the depths of the earth. Your eyes saw my unformed substance. In your book were written, every one of them, the days that were formed for me, when as yet there was none of them. And in 2 Corinthians, the Apostle Paul wrote about how even they suffered. 2 Corinthians 1:8. For we were so utterly burdened beyond our strength that we despaired of life itself. Indeed, we felt that we had received the sentence of death, but that was to make us rely not on ourselves, but on God who raises the dead. And in the verses prior, he said this. Look at verse 3. Blessed be the God and Father of our Lord Jesus Christ. the Father of mercies and God of all comfort, who comforts us in all our affliction, so that we may be able to comfort those who are in any affliction with the comfort with which we ourselves are comforted by God.
Guys, God does see our pain and our hurt. He sees everything that we go through. And he calls us each to come to him, to be comforted by him. He's not cold to what we go through. Even Jesus, while he was on the earth, though he knew his friend Lazarus, that he would raise him from the dead, when he died, it still moved Jesus by the pain of his death. It still drove him to weep over his friend that he knew he was going to raise in just a short time after. And we can have hope that God is leading us through no matter what comes our way. And he's preparing us to bring comfort to others as they suffer through similar things that we are. He's preparing us to comfort other people with the same comfort that he is desiring to provide for us now. So I urge each of us, let's go to him. Cry out to God. Be honest with him about how you're feeling, with what you're going through. Tell him your fears and your anxieties. He wants to hear you, and he cares. God will meet you there, and he will comfort you.
James wrote in his letter in chapter 4, verse 8, "Draw near to God, and he will draw near to you." You are not alone. The pain we experience in this life is not in vain. God is at work. He has not left, and he will